Hey guys, what's up? It's Ripe again. In today's video, an entitled jerk steals a veteran's disabled parking spot and then ends up in jail. Never mess with a veteran. Here is what happened. Subscribe to Ripe on YouTube and hit the bell to turn on notifications. The first story starts like this. I'm a veteran, a service-connected veteran from combat with multiple injuries that cause me difficulties walking long distances some days. I got a handicap placard, but I don't take advantage of it unless I truly am having a rough day. So the cast for this story is Douchewaffle, DW, me M, police officer friend POF, Douchewaffle's friend DWF, HCS handicap spot. So I need some water and a can of chew. I'm a chick, so this is weird for people. This matters in the story. I walk into our local corner gas station. Everyone knows everyone in the neighborhood there. I pull into the station. I'm having a pretty bad day. My leg keeps going numb. I should be at home medicated, but unfortunately, my need for tobacco messing with my sensibility. On top of being in massive pain, I am cut off by DW and DWF. He, as you guessed, pulls into the only HCS, aka handicap parking spot. I look just to make sure that he does not have a placard or plate before I lose my mind on him. He got a big, ugly, lifted Chevy truck, no placard or plate. By the way, Ripe stars, quick guess here, if being a huge douchebag is considered a disability, then he might get a placard in the future, but I would not hold my breath. Anyway, the following convo and his arrest leads to this. M. Nice HCP or plate, dickhead. Douchewaffle. You don't really look handicapped, unless being fat is your handicap. Me? Aw, bless your heart, you're a douchewaffle and an entitled a-hole. Douchewaffle? F you. Guessing by you parking where you did and that monstrosity of a truck, I don't think you could please a real woman. I head into the store pretty pissed at this point. I see Douchewaffle and I make sure he can hear me. I tell Michelle the clerk that I just love POSs who park in handicapped spots because they think that no one needs it. She and I talk for a minute. I calm down. I see Douchewaffle giving me the stink eye as he is buying a bunch of tall boys, tall beers. I grab my stuff and walk out in time to see Douchewaffle scratching my car with something. Like digging something into my paint. This is when the situation gets real and good. Me? What the hell are you doing? You're screwing up my paint, you POS. What the hell? I'm calling the cops. I am hobbling over to get my phone from my car. He tried to leave. Me and another car of people who saw this go down and block him. Me? I'm on the phone now with 911. Don't let him leave. Douchewaffle. F you. You cannot keep me here, that's illegal. Douchewaffle friend, just run their crappy little SUV over, referring to bystander's car. It takes about 2 minutes and POF shows up with about 2 other units. POF, sir, please turn your truck off and step out. DW, why? I didn't do anything. This woman is full of it. That woman is lying. Me, hey POF, look at my door on the passenger side. POF, sir, did you scratch the Mrs. car? You can tell me, or I can just look at the camera from the store. Douchewaffle. No, that woman is just mad because her fat ass had to walk. POF. Sir, that's not any of your effing business. But did you notice? M has a purple heart in her license plate. Douchewaffle. So effing what? It's not my fault she went and was stupid enough to get effed up in a war. POF is a fellow veteran who happens to be good friends with my husband, who is also a combat veteran. POF. Sir, have you been drinking? DW and DWF, no, we haven't drank anything. POF, sir, why don't you go ahead and step out too? Douchewaffle friend. As Douchewaffle friend gets out of the truck, all the tall boys fall to the ground from the lifted truck. POF, okay guys, this is what's gonna happen to you. You are both being detained. DW for a possible DUI and parking in a handicapped spot without proper placard or plate. And Douchewaffle friend, public intoxication. This idiot actually opened a tall boy while his buddy was talking to a POF. POF, Douchewaffle, I'm gonna be administering a FSB, field sobriety test, to you. So DW fails miserably and is 2 times the legal limit, as well as he has a handgun and some pills not with a prescription in his truck, which means felony time. Also, it was his 3rd DUI of what's considered extreme DUI. It was the most amazing feeling that it all started out with some douchebag feeling entitled enough to park where he shouldn't have. guy parks where he is not legally allowed, gets nasty and mouthy, and then ends up going to jail. That's a timeline I enjoy. And yeah, ripe stars, if you have ever gotten revenge on some entitled douchebag that felt he had the need to park in a disabled spot, then please let us know in the comments. I would love to hear about it. The next stories, just to inform you why they will sound a little bit different, were recorded a while ago. However, they should still be fresh and new to you. These are not reposts or anything. Entitled boss demanded I give her the diamonds from my engagement ring. It is natural for us to disagree with our bosses from time to time. Often it is natural for bosses to be on some sort of power trip. However, I have never disliked a boss so much than I did at my last job. We will call her Susan. She was condescending, rude, undermined people all the time and got away with a whole bunch of wacky BS. Except one time when she stole my engagement and wedding ring at work and did not get away with it. Let me give you a little backstory. I met my husband in high school. He was not only my high school sweetheart, but he was my first boyfriend. He has been my rock since I was 17 and has been by my side through it all. He is also a very giving person and I am thankful to have a husband that spoils me even though I could afford everything he buys me myself. I am telling you guys this not to brag, but to highlight the relationship that my husband and I have with each other. So, when I found out that he saved up for a year to be able to afford not only a ring when he proposed to me, but also a ring for wedding ceremony, I held those rings to my absolute heart. They symbolized our love and the length he was willing to go for me. And also, I really did love them and not in a materialistic way. When I came back to work after I got married, I got many compliments on my rings. I was not trying to show them off at all, but what girl would not feel good when other people noticed her ring? I even explained to a couple of my work pals how much these rings meant to me. One day when we were all gathering our things and getting ready to clock out for the day, my boss came over. I am 90% sure that she was coming over to complain at us for standing around and talking. We had 5 minutes left until we could clock out. However, when she saw my ring, her expression changed. The conversation went a little something like this. Coworker 1: "Oh Susan, you must have spotted her rings. Aren't they beautiful?" Coworker 2: "How could she not spot those giant rocks? You could see that glistening diamond from a mile away." Me getting flustered. Oh gosh, you guys, stop. My boss then makes a disgusted face while looking at my rings as if to say that they were ugly or something. I don't really know. I hated my boss. She made a little noise before walking away with her nose in the air. I swear she was like an evil character that came out of a movie. My coworkers mumbled curse words under their breath, asking what was wrong with her. Who knows what was wrong with that lady? All I knew is that she was absolutely miserable and loved making everyone else miserable as well. I brushed off the incident thinking it was just Susan being her normal Karen self. However, a few days later, things got really weird. I was sitting at my computer desk typing away as I worked on some important documents when I saw Susan walking up to my desk. I was bracing myself for her to come and complain about something or to tell me that I was not meeting the deadlines fast enough. I don't know. Nothing positive or good ever came out of that girl's mouth. Even when the team did good, she had a talent about finding the smallest thing to whine about. So imagine my shock when she came up to my desk and the first thing she asks me is, "Does your ring have warranty?" What? Why would she care? I would find that out later. I had let her know that yes, it does have a warranty. My husband is an incredibly careful person and was prepared for anything. Heck, if he could have a warranty on the toilet seat, he would. But what is even more baffling than that is what she asked me next. Susan looked me straight in the eye and asked me if I would be willing to take the diamonds out of my wedding ring and swap them with hers. What? I get speechless every time I tell this story. Who asks that? Who even has the balls to ask that? Well, Susan has, obviously. I could not help the look that appeared on my face. I mean, what? I was baffled. To this day, I am still baffled. I let her know that no, which would absolutely not be happening. Why would I ruin my beautiful ring? If she liked my rings that much, couldn't she just ask what cut/type they were and go look for something similar? However, a few days later, this whole weird situation had turned into an ugly one. We had a big project coming up, and on one particular day, I knew that I would have to be a little hand-on and get my hands dirty. The building our company resided in was pretty big, and we had our own personal break room with full-sized lockers. I put my rings in a little coin purse I had in my locker and made sure the lock itself was shut and locked. Looking back, I would have put them in my pants pockets or something, but I was too afraid to lose them. Guess what though? I would lose them anyway. When the team and I came back a few hours later, I was stunned to find not only was the coin purse missing, but so was my Apple Watch and a lunch pail that my husband had bought me. Which, why would you steal a lunch pail? But anyways, I was absolutely freaking out. I thought that the purse had fell or I had dropped it and did not realize it. But when my coworkers and I looked around, we could not find anything on the floor. However, when one of my coworkers spoke up, I realized something. I did not even think about it at first, but Susan had been acting so weird about my ring. What if she broke into my locker and stole it? Upon hearing my coworker's theory, I immediately went to the supervisor above Susan and asked if she would be willing to check the cameras. I did not know her too well, as she was only on a few projects with us every so often. She seemed intimidating, but I knew I could not ask Susan directly. I explained to her about my wedding rings and how I would be devastated if something happened to them. She agreed, and 2 days later, guess who was caught breaking into my locker and taking the pouch with my rings as well as the other missing items? You guessed it, Susan. I was absolutely livid. For someone to be such an ass, to be so rude and to be belittling to her people, to turn around and steal something that meant so much to me, I was absolutely livid. It turned into a whole thing where HR got involved and they asked if I wanted to press charges. I told them that I absolutely did. Luckily, I was able to get my rings and everything else back. To be honest, I did not care about the Apple Watch or lunchbox, I just wanted my rings back. Those couple of days without my rings felt like pure hell. I had felt so guilty and even cried to my husband about it. I felt like losing those precious rings was somehow my fault, but nonetheless I got my rings back. Not only that, but Susan was found guilty on grand theft and had to serve jail time. I honestly don't know how much. I did not keep up with her after that. As a matter of fact, even though I got my belongings back and Susan was held accountable, I just did not feel like staying with the company anymore. It did not feel right. The last I heard, several other coworkers had quit as well. But at least I've had my wonderful husband by my side. And guys, if you have watched until here and enjoy the stories about crazy bosses, then please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments if you want to show your support. Thank you so much in advance, your help is very much appreciated. The next one is titled, Don't Screw With Me. 5 years ago, I started a new job in my field. I was given a 2-year contract with the expectation it would be a permanent position. This was how I was recruited, what the posting said and what my contract said. While it is a 2-year initial contract, they wanted a permanent long-term position. In my field, it is common practice to hire an initial contract before doing permanent because it is difficult to fire when you are permanent. When they interviewed me, they told me the position was established with a lot of clients, my predecessors retired and they need someone to take it to the next level. All good. I start the job and realized that after the previous person left, they did not hire an interim and essentially the position was nothing except an intern who was doing 5 hours a week September to May. There was no web presence, so nobody knew about the services. Basically, I was starting from scratch. I spent time building a website, creating social media, advertising, making packages for the community, etc. Even made brochures, posters, and over the 2 years went from the 5 clients the intern had to 50 clients. When it came time to make my position permanent, they fired me. They said it did not grow the way they wanted and I did not blow it out of the water. And as such, they were cancelling my position and program. That was it. I was told to finish my work in the next month and they would pay the remainder of my contract out. I was dumbfounded, but whatever, I knew I could get a new job quite easily. A couple days later, I was going through Google Doc folders to delete all my documents and accidentally found meeting minutes from before my hiring, in which there were comments that they want to hire the intern FT, but they are still in school and won't graduate for 2 more years. I looked at another comment that had brainstorming and discovered their plan to hire someone for 2 years under the guise of a permanent job to build the role up, then let them go and hire the intern permanently. This allows the intern then to take on a successful program. Well, intern worked until end of May and my contract was done in mid-July. After intern finished for the term, I decided to finish my work. The website, domain and social media were all in my name, and since I was told they were cancelling my position, I sent an email to the clients to say that the program was ending in June and directed them to other agencies that offer the same services for September, cancelled the domain, deleted the website and closed all our social media accounts. As well as closing the email account, cancelled the account with the printing services that had all our designs, done by me, and posters, my intellectual property, just everything. It was as if we never existed. In August, I received an email from the intern that she was just hired for my position, but a slightly different title, and asked if I could come by the office to help her figure out the website as she cannot find it. And also to help her transfer social media, get the email information and get all the posters and designs transferred to her name. I emailed her back and said, "Oh well, this is awkward. I was told the program was cancelled, so I directed the clients to other agencies so they could have services in September, and deleted all the web presence so people would not get wrong information." Edit, she sent an email back that I was mistaken, the board was going to call me and asked if I deleted all my Google documents because they are gone too. The board sent me a scathing letter that I was not going to get a reference from them. I sent an email back, with my board's permission, from my work email, a competing agency, saying that I was not in need of a reference. And yeah, ripe stars, I gotta say, this person is on a different level when it comes to getting revenge. Absolutely brilliant. And the next one is titled Better Pay, Mate. I lived in a few shared houses when I was at uni. Most of the bills were included in the rent except Wi-Fi. So I took this on in my name and agreed to split the cost 3 ways with my 2 housemates to make it affordable for all of us. Simple, right? Well, it became the bane of my existence. Every single month, without fail, I had to chase them for money. Housemate A would forget to pay me. She must have had dementia as the bill was on the same date every month for a year, but credit where credit is due, she would pay me on the day I reminded her or the next day. Housemate B would come out with the same excuse every month. "I'm a bit skint this month, mate. I get half as much student loan as you. Can I pay you double next month?" I would have accepted this if her mom was not giving her money every month, doubling what she was getting in student loan. There was naturally a lot of tension in the house because of this, so I started staying over at my boyfriend's place the odd night, which turned into 3 nights until I unofficially moved in. I was still paying rent on my house share due to being tied in with the tenancy agreement and not being able to afford to end the agreement early. Another month rolled by. I messaged them both yet again to ask for the bill money. Housemate A had forgotten again, but promised to get it to me by the end of the day when she got home, and housemate B was skint again. I went rounds to my house to grab some clean clothes to take back to my boyfriend's, and lo and behold, on the way there I saw housemate B sitting in the Chinese takeaway surrounded by shopping bags. It would appear she had quite the shopping spree at the MAC, Benefit and Urban Decay makeup counters. Well, the red mist had descended. I had well and truly had enough by this point, so I went into my house, shoved some clean clothes into a bag as planned along with the Wi-Fi router and plug, so they couldn't plug in a new router, and then left. I then messaged them both saying, "I am fed up of you both taking the piss out of me. The whole point of splitting a bill 3 ways is so we can all afford it, but I'm being left financially short every month because you are both unable or unwilling to pay me on time. You will notice when you both get home that the Wi-Fi router and plug is no longer there, and I will no longer be paying for your Wi-Fi. So I suggest you either go to the library or start a new contract, which will cost you more as I won't be contributing. You both have deadlines in a week, so you better get a wriggle on and sort something out. Sucks to be you. And yeah, Ripe Stars, I gotta say, I can fully relate to this story, because once I also lived in a shared flat with a friend, and that friend was also always late when it came to paying the rent. I mean, you know, if you have a bad month or something and you cannot pay on time, that is okay. However, if that becomes a habit, then I'm really not okay with that. The same goes for borrowing people money. I got no issues with borrowing money to friends or family, and even if you cannot give it back in time, if you're honest about it, then no problem really. However, if you are BSing and lying to me, then I will definitely think twice about giving you money in the future. And the next one is titled Mechanic Revenge. Many years ago, I had an old Buick with a small radiator leak. I used to just add water once a week and it was fine, but it was slowly getting worse. I saw an ad for a radiator shop that did free estimates. I gave them a call and they said I would have to leave the vehicle with them. I arranged a ride, and when I dropped it off, I was told it would be one of three things. If they could patch it, it would be $50. If they could recore it, it would be $100. But if they had to replace it, it would be $250. These were, of course, 1980s prices. Since it was just a small leak, I was sure it could just be patched. I did not hear from them the rest of the day, so I called them the next day. They told me, "That radiator is shot, you need a new one." I said no thanks and I would come by to pick it up later. I heard just silence on the other end of the line, but figured he was just angry that he was losing a sale. When I arrived, I was greeted by a different person that I had spoken with the day before. He had a big smile on his face and said, "What can I do for you?" I said I was there to pick up the Buick, and the smile just washed right off his face. Without saying a word, he turned around, grabbed the keys from a hook behind him, and then threw them at me. I bounced off the counter and landed on the floor by the front door. I was confused but picked them up and left. When I got home, it all became clear. I popped the hood and saw that they had removed the radiator and had patched the leak. They then painted my radiator and reinstalled it and were going to sell it back to me as new. Paint was still tacky. I drove that car for another 6 years, it never overheated once. About 3 years after the incident, the shop went out of business. The dumb part is, if they had told me they could patch or recore it, I would have said sure, go ahead, but since they tried to screw me, they ended up screwing themselves. And Ripe Stars, with this we have reached the end of the video. However, if you still cannot get enough of my content, then I would highly suggest to check out my endless binge watch playlist, which will soon show up in the left corner of the screen. In addition, I would really appreciate it if you could not only subscribe to the channel, but also turn on the bell notifications, which you can do by clicking on the little bell icon right next to the subscribe button. This will help my channel tremendously, and this will make sure that you don't miss any of my videos. Furthermore, if you want to see additional Ripe content that I don't post on YouTube, then I would suggest to head on over to patreon.com/ripeyoutube for more than 50 exclusive videos that you will not see anywhere else. Thank you so much for your amazing daily support, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.